Good afternoon, and thank you everyone for joining us for Ohio University's online webinar today. Today you all are in for a special treat. We're going to discuss the online Masters College of Business programs, and you'll have the opportunity to hear directly from our program directors. For today's agenda, I will introduce to you each one of our program directors and professors for our online MBA, our business analytics, and accountancy programs. Each one of our speakers will give an overview of their program and highlight some of the unique key points of that degree program. We'll also cover the requirements of each master's degree and application checklist. At the end of the presentation, we will have a Q&A session, so please be sure to utilize the Q&A box and type in your questions. We will try to answer as many questions as time permits. However, feel free after the presentation to reach out to your enrollment advisors for any additional questions that you may have. So, what online master's program from our College of Business suite is right for you? We want you to ask yourself this question while you listen closely during our webinar presentation today, as each of the program directors and professors from the online MBA, the business analytics, and accountancy programs give you that detailed information. And then we hope by the end of the presentation that you would have an answer for yourself as to which program is right for you. So we'll start off with our online Master's in Business Administration program. I'd like to welcome both our Financial and Operations Officer of Graduate and Professional Programs, Jill Nice, as well as our Director and Associate Professor of Business Analytics, Dr. Bill Young. Welcome.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name's Bill Young, and as she said, I'm the Director of our online MBA program. I've been the director for about 7 years, so I've seen the program grow tremendously since the start of the program. On a personal note, I'm a professor of business analytics. I've been with the college a number of years. I'm an associate professor, and basically everything that I teach or research revolves around predictive and prescriptive analytics and the applications there within business and education and healthcare and all sorts of research and teaching avenues. As far as our MBA program, I definitely want to thank everybody that took the time out of their schedules today or later going to watch the recording of this webinar. But in terms of our MBA, I just want to give you an overview of what we offer here at the College of Business at Ohio University. The MBA program starts out with a set of core courses that you'll take, and if you've browsed our website, you can see more thorough descriptions of those core courses, but it is really a generalist approach to the MBA path. So, for example, the first 4 semesters that you'll take with us, you'll be taking courses that range from traditional finance, accounting, data analytics, OBHR, and then you'll get into more domain-specific topics such as operations and supply chain management, strategic use of information, technology and systems, and then other courses that are surrounded with marketing and sales and things like that. And if you look at the demand for an MBA, it's ever-changing in the workplace. And what we have determined through our research and our ongoing efforts to improve the program is that working professionals need more specific skills these days, and that's why we have 8 different concentrations. And you can read those concentrations on the slide in front of you, but we have executive management, finance, healthcare, business analytics, operations, and supply chain management, accounting, and strategic selling and sales leadership, and business venturing and entrepreneurship. Each of those concentrations are 3 courses, so essentially upon the 9 core courses and the 3 concentration courses, that'll comprise the requirements of our degree completion requirements for the MBA. Each of our courses are 7 weeks, so in a given semester we break the term up into 2 parts. Term A is the first part, which is the first 7 weeks of the semester. The second part B, is the last 7 weeks of the semester. We find this strategy very helpful for working professionals like you because simply put, you can focus on one course at a time rather than competing due dates for assignments and sort of competing with time that you have available in multiple classes. You can dedicate yourself to one class at a time, and it's really worked well. Happy to say that we are consistently ranked in U.S. News and World Report, Forbes, Bloomberg, Poets and Quants, and a lot of other media sites and informational sites out there when rating the MBA programs in the nation. So we're happy to say that. We're always interested to know where we place every year. As far as our faculty go, I can tell you that 80% or more at a given time are faculty teaching the course who have terminal degrees. So you're not being taught by a TA. Some of the other programs that we have researched and benchmark are led by a faculty who has a terminal degree, but they're not necessarily the people that you're interfacing with. In our program, that's a differentiating factor because you're speaking directly to and being taught by those terminal degree faculty. And if they're not terminal degree with a PhD, JD, and others, they're professionally qualified people. So think of the CPAs of the world teaching accounting. Let's see. Maybe Jill. Oh, okay.
Concentrations.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I mentioned that. So sorry, I got a little sidetracked there. I was in a zone for a second. But maybe we can talk a little bit about the leadership development program because that's another differentiating factor. And before I pass it off, I will say another differentiating factor is our price point of what our program costs, and we'll get into a little bit more about that, I'm sure, later. But Jill, can you tell us a little bit more about our leadership development program?
Sure, I'd be happy to. And actually, this particular point that I'm going to talk about applies across all of the programs that you'll hear about today. So whether you choose the MBA, the Master's in Business Analytics, or the Master's of Accountancy, you would have the opportunity to take place in our leadership development program, which is, like Bill said, definitely we feel like one of the biggest differentiators for our programs. But the leadership development program is something that we offer where students come to campus twice a year, so you can come to up to 3 when you're in the program, and they're offered every April and every August. You would be required to come to 1, but again, your tuition and fees covers your participation in up to 3 of those. And we bring in top speakers from the industry that come in and facilitate keynote sessions on leadership, and then we have breakout sessions that are for each concentration within all of our programs. And then also just opportunities for you to network with the faculty, meet the faculty that you're working with, network with other students, see the campus that you're a part of, because once you become a Bobcat, you're always a Bobcat. So we like to bring our students to campus so that they really feel connected and you're not just in an online program. You're a part of this campus, and we want to see you and meet you and have the opportunity to work with you.
Okay, I do actually want to mention, now that I had a second to collect my thoughts, about some key differentiating factors that I've already mentioned and some maybe that I haven't. When I look at our MBA, it's strong and it's well received by working professionals. I mentioned the cost point that our program offers. Like I said, we're consistently ranked in U.S. News and World Report about our value that we provide. We're AACSB accredited, which is something that I encourage you guys to look at. And when you're doing your comparisons amongst other schools, make sure that they have an AACSB accreditation. We do for both our undergrad and grad programs. Our flexibility is key. I think the unique selling point of those 7-week classes at a time is nice. We also don't necessarily encourage you to step out of the program, but if you need to, that's something that we're capable of dealing with and getting you back on board when you can. We know you're working professionals. We know you're adults. We know you have responsibilities both at work, at home, and in sort of the classroom as well. So we're very comfortable with that. As far as our concentrations go, we feel that we offer a good diverse set of really important business skills to develop. especially the emerging ones in analytics, operations, selling, entrepreneurship, and other traditional MBA topics. And I think, I'd be remiss to say our strength is our faculty and staff and everybody that works in the program. We're very dedicated and care deeply about our success, and we really work tirelessly to do everything we can do to make sure this is, the best program that we can possibly put together. So we have faculty working with learning designers with content that's structuring content for the adult learner. We have staff working with you, making sure you have enough information, the right information at the right time for you to proceed through the program smoothly. So all that said, I encourage you to look at our program seriously, and like I said earlier, compare it to other programs who are AACSB accredited. Their price point, where we come in around $35,000, is actually ranked, like I said, consistently amongst the best value that you can obtain.
Awesome. Thank you both for that valuable information. So now I want to cover with you the requirements and the application checklist for our online MBA program. In order to be considered for admissions to the program, it is recommended that all applicants have a conferred and accredited bachelor's degree or higher with at least a 3.0 GPA. Since our program is meant for those in the industry, we also require a minimum of 2 to 5 years of professional progressive work experience. Please note that our program does not require the GMAT or GRE scores, and the program will not accept any transfer credits. If you are uncertain if you meet any of these program requirements, please reach out to your enrollment advisor for assistance. Now, once you have met the requirements and you're ready to apply, to complete an online application, you'll need to provide us with transcripts from each institution that you have attended. This is very important. If you have transfer credits in, if you attended more than one institution, we'll need a separate transcript showing that information. We also require a current updated resume or current cover letter, 3 letters of recommendation with at least one coming from your current supervisor or manager, and the other 2 from other professional references. Also, a personal goal statement. Now, with this personal goal statement, we're looking for you to explain your career objectives as well as your interest in the program. The online application fee is $50. Now, an important topic when selecting any graduate degree option is always tuition. The online tuition cost per credit hour is $1,004 for Ohio residents and $1,023 for non-Ohio residents. The MBA program consists of 35 credits, so your total cost as an Ohio resident is $35,980, and a non-Ohio resident would be $36,645. Now let's move into our online Master's in Business Analytics program. We're going to jump back to Dr. Young, who will share some insights and program details on what our online Master's in Business Analytics program makes it unique. Dr. Young?
Certainly. So I am the program director for both of our programs, and there's a lot of synergy between the two. So oftentimes we get the question, why would I choose one program or the other? And, when I look at the differences between the program, one is going to be more centered upon an overall breadth of business. So if you're coming from an engineering background, let's say, or something other than business, you're going to be exposed to, a lot of our traditional business, executive management type of courses that you're going to build leadership skills. You're going to know certain things that go on and how to manage certain things that go on in a corporation and an environment like that. So it's very much our MBA is centered around leadership. So think of the ethics courses, the organizational behavior courses, the change management courses that you would take. Certainly there's courses that are traditional, like business analytics being one, finance, accounting, and some others like operations management. And when you do take the online MBA and when you do take a concentration of business analytics, you're getting a flavor of the major topics within analytics, certainly with the exposure of those traditional business concepts. So you're going to have a good overall experience, with those 3 courses. Those are the primary courses. But if you really want to develop a deeper understanding and a deeper skill set, certainly, for analytics, you're going to want to explore the Masters of Business Analytics program that we offer. As I said, there are some synergies between the two. We do offer some of the courses that we offer in the OMBA and to the OMBA-N program. And some of those are, in fact, centered on leadership and strategic use of both analytics and information systems. We collect data. We have to understand some of the strategies, the limitations, the benefits of those systems. But primarily, our curriculum is focused on the data-driven methodologies and applications of those methodologies that one would learn in a program like this to apply it to solve business problems, real-world business problems. So our courses are set up in a way that will take a student that maybe has never even considered an analytics program before, and at the very least has never, let's just put it this way, hasn't much experience in analytics. Our program's designed to take students like that and ease them into the program and gradually over the course of 5 semesters build up our skills and build up your confidence in applying and using analytics capabilities. So the major pillars of analytics certainly revolve around descriptive, so telling us what the data looks like, making stories around the data, summarizing data and building reports, in other words. Predictive analytics, taking historic data, building models and applying those models to predict some sort of future outcome, or to look at applying models to understand certain demographics and how those inputs, if you will, ultimately affect models that we create. Could be centered around marketing initiatives, who is likely to buy what and why, all the way up to prescriptive analytics, which is set on delivering a prescribed, if you will, delivered, a mathematically driven, if you will, solution to business problems. So think optimization and other topics that are surrounded with dealing with uncertain information, because as you know, the world is kind of chaotic, and there are a lot of unknown decisions and information at times that we need to make these decisions. So those are definitely the 3 pillars, and I would be remiss by not saying that the other pillar, if you will, is information systems. So we will start by analyzing small data sets. We will gradually increase that size. And certainly in today's age, there's an abundant need for being able to analyze large data sets. So you will get to a point where you will start to learn how to essentially manage databases from a structured and unstructured manner. And what I mean by that is sometimes data is nicely formatted, sometimes it's not. Think of Twitter and Yelp and different text analytics. It's unstructured in nature, so we have to figure out ways to deal with that and to deliver insight from that data. So you will go through the whole gamut, if you will, from very small analyses to very, I would say, complex, but in a good way, that you're adding value to your organization, because these deeper skills are definitely needed. We also feature software that is demanded by business, so you will definitely get an exposure to some of the foundational softwares like Excel, moving on to add-ins to Excel to do optimization or some preliminary data analysis, all the way to R and Tableau and Python and Microsoft SQL Server, so things like MySQL and things like that. So we definitely focus the curriculum in an applied manner that uses the technology that is demanded by business today. And if you've looked into analytics at all, you will know that several consulting agencies have stressed that there's millions of jobs nationwide over the next few years that will go unfilled because, simply put, higher education is not delivering enough graduates to fulfill the demand of those positions. So those positions are coming from, entry-level positions, mid-level positions, and upper-level positions. So, take a look at the job market. The number of jobs are exploding. So if you're a sort of a career changer, this is a great thing to pick up. If you're a career enhancer, this is a great choice for you as well.
Awesome. Thank you again, Dr. Young. So now, just to cover some requirements for the Business Analytics program, basically the application checklist as far as the GPA and your undergraduate degree, that information is not going to change. But what we want to mention here as far as the personal goal statement is that you do want to mention those soft and technical skills that may have an impact on you applying for the Masters in Business Analytics program, because we're going to want to see a little bit more of, why you're interested in this program outside of the MBA with a concentration in analytics. Pretty much that's the only change there. As far as the cost of the program for the analytics, not too far off from the MBA program. If you're an Ohio resident, you're looking at $1,175 per credit hour. That will bring your total cost to $35,250. And if you're a non-Ohio resident, you'd be looking at the per credit hour cost of $1,194 and total cost of $35,820. With the Masters in Business Analytics program, you're focusing on a total of 30 credits over 11 courses. So that's the difference there as far as cost and credit hour. Now, last but not least, we also want to share with you insights about our online Masters in Accountancy program. So we have here with us today a professor of the program, Dr. Jennifer Stevens. Welcome, Dr. Jennifer.
Hi, my name is Jennifer Stevens, and I am a professor in the Master of Accountancy program. I have an undergraduate, a master's, and a PhD in accounting. Prior to going back to get a PhD, I worked for a Big Four public accounting firm, Ernst & Young at the time. Now they've rebranded themselves to EY, and I worked in their fraud and forensics group. I also then worked at a smaller boutique consulting firm, Alvarez & Marsal. They primarily do bankruptcy turnaround work. And then I briefly worked for a company called Gerson Lehrman Group, and I believe they've rebranded themselves to GLG. They provide market research to the buy side, investment analysts, hedge funds, private equity, et cetera. So I'm really excited to talk to you about Ohio University's new Masters of Accountancy program. So first of all, I'd like to pose the question, why accounting? I'm going to give you two reasons. Accountants are information specialists. The problem of the 20th century was lack of data, and the problem of the 21st century is too much data. Accountants turn data into information. We help answer the questions, what questions should we be asking? What data is useful to answer that question? Where is that data? How can we turn that data into information useful for decision making? And what is that information telling us as it relates to business operations and strategy? The second reason is accountants have a solid base in general business knowledge. Because all aspects of the business run through the accounting system, employers know that those with an accounting background have a strong understanding of the business in general, that they also hold the quantitative skills necessary for upper level decision making. The Masters of Accountancy really builds these quantitative skills and focuses on information and decision making. These qualities will make those with a Masters of Accountancy especially attractive to employers, not only for accounting positions, but also for positions in many other business specialties. This advanced degree could really help open doors and diversify your job options within your current employer. Or it could present new employment opportunities, perhaps with a Big Four accounting firm, various other consulting firms, or other corporate employers. Of course, a CPA credential would make the applicant even more attractive to potential employers and a Master's of Accountancy degree is the most effective and efficient path to meeting CPA requirements. So, let me talk specifically about our program. Our program is designed to go beyond foundational principles and really build a leadership mindset while advancing a student's analytical, strategic, and critical thinking skills in accounting. In order to do this, we have specifically incorporated a 3-course sequence in data analytics. You'll also take classes in advanced auditing, managerial accounting, tax research, ethics, and fraud and forensics. We've also designed our program around a case-based curriculum aligned with today's industry-leading best practices. The program can be completed in 5 to 7 semesters depending on your background. We'll work with you to design a program that best suits your prior preparation. So for those with an undergraduate degree in accounting, you could complete the degree in 5 semesters. And for those with an undergraduate degree in business other than accounting, you could complete the program in 7 semesters. If you don't have an undergraduate degree in business, we'd work with you to incorporate a few additional courses into the program, or you could choose to complete the MBA with a concentration in accounting, and then add on a few additional accounting electives if you were interested in pursuing the CPA. Of course, our Master of Accountancy will help you fulfill those CPA requirements for those that are interested in pursuing a CPA, but I want to stress that the program has much higher level learning objectives, and we're not solely focused on CPA preparation. We're focused on information and decision making. And of course, we also offer our students the opportunity to attend the Leadership Development Workshop for a weekend here in Athens. So I'm happy to take any questions, and I think that's kind of an overview of our program.
Awesome. Thank you again, Dr. Jennifer. So as she mentioned questions, we will have a Q&A session at the end of the presentation, so please be sure to utilize the Q&A box throughout the presentation, and we will cover as many questions as time permits. So just like the Master's in Business Analytics as well as the MBA program, the requirements here for the accountancy program are somewhat the same as far as the undergrad GPA and the application checklist. One thing to point out, however, as Dr. Jennifer mentioned, we do have 2 different types of students for this program. So you'll find that the non-bridge students, those that are career enhancers, those that have a bachelor's degree in accounting, they would be required to take a total of 10 courses that equal out to 30 credits. So if you're an in-state resident, your cost would be $1,175 per credit. So if you're a career enhancer, your total cost would be $35,250 for in-state and a total of $35,820 for out-of-state. And then we have the other career track. If you're a career changer, we refer to you as a bridge student, meaning that you do have to take 4 bridge courses before jumping into the core curriculum of the program. So you're looking at a total of 14 courses to equal out 42 credit hours. So these are individuals that have a bachelor's degree in business outside of accounting or a business-related field. Now, for more specifics on what we refer to as a business-related field, please feel free to reach out to your enrollment advisor for further information. Now, the cost, of course, will be a little more because you do have to take the 4 additional courses. For Ohio residents, your total cost would be $49,350, and for non-Ohio residents, your cost would be $50,148. So now, ladies and gentlemen, we have come to our Q&A section of the presentation. Again, please be sure to utilize the Q&A box to type in your questions, and we will answer as many questions as time permits. Remember that your online MBA program, you can specialize in either one of business analytics concentration or the accountancy concentration if you're a little torn between the 2 programs alone. However, if you're still trying to determine the better option for your needs, after this webinar, we do encourage that you review our website for similar program and concentration information, as well as other webinars that we have conducted for a better understanding of each. My name is Brittany Smith. I'm an enrollment advisor. I will be answering most of the questions that I see come through today. If I'm not able to answer the question, I will pose them to our program directors and professors. And again, reach out to your prospective enrollment advisor if your question was not able to be answered on our webinar today. So our first question here comes from our audience. Do you have scholarships in our program? For any of the programs that we discussed today, unfortunately, we do not offer any scholarships. However, we do accept financial aid if you qualify. You'll go online and fill out the FAFSA. We also accept any tuition assistance programs from your employers. And if you are military, active, or veteran, we do have a Veteran Affairs office that will work with you on any paperwork as far as the tuition costs for the program as well. Our next question is in regards to the LDP workshop. This question is travel covered for the leadership development workshops, and how many are there? So I can answer that question. Travel, unfortunately, is not covered for the leadership development workshop weekends. We do cover most of your meal plans as well as your room and board, your hotel stay. However, travel will be the expense that you would need to cover. We offer 3 leadership development workshop weekends in the program. However, we require that you only attend one. The other 2 are optional, but we do strongly encourage that you attend the other 2, because if you do, you meet other students outside of your cohort that are also in your prospective program. Let's see here. I have a question for the MBA directors. The question is, how common are career changers in the MBA program? So Dr. Young or Jill, would you be able to answer that question for us, please?
I'd say, the data always shifts around a little bit. We do have exit surveys and things like that we get a pulse on our students at the beginning, actually, and the end. I would say 25 to 30% is a good number that are career changers, but it's always so hard to quantify that because they might be leaving a certain industry, let's say manufacturing, for more of a service-based industry, but their roles in those 2 environments are similar at times. So, it's hard to really say how drastically some of these career changers are, but what we see in our polls are about 25 to 30%.
Awesome, thank you. And I have a question coming in for the accounting program. So Dr. Jennifer, if you can answer this one for us. Can I sit for the CPA exam after obtaining the online Masters in Accounting program at Ohio?
Well, it will depend on your prior preparation, and it will depend on your specific state requirements. And so we would be happy, to talk with students on a one-to-one basis to get them the requirements that they need. But again, each state has slightly different requirements. And so it would depend, and we would work with you to get you to the number of requirements that you need. If you have an undergraduate degree in accounting and you take the Masters of Accountancy, yes, you would definitely meet the requirements for a CPA. If you are a part of our bridge students or our career changers where you have an undergraduate degree in business and then you complete the Masters of Accountancy program, again, in 95% of the cases, you are going to meet the CPA requirements of your state as well. So I guess the short answer is yes, almost always. But again, we would want to check with your individual state requirements to make sure. If you don't have an undergraduate degree in business, then we would have to work with you a little bit more, perhaps like I said, adding on more courses or going toward an MBA with a concentration in accounting and then adding on additional accounting electives.
Great, thank you. This question is for business analytics. So the question is, I hear there is a bridge course for the analytics program. How long is the course and what does it cover?
Great question. So I'll back up and describe the purpose of the bridge first to answer this question. Sometimes, students have been out of college for a while. Certainly, they're not used to an online learning environment, which has drastically changed in the course of 15 years, 10 years, something like that. So sometimes we get applications that don't necessarily highlight that they've been successful in accounting, finance, economics, and quantitative courses. And we do offer a bridge program if that is one thing that we are concerned about in terms of an admission process or judgment call. So the bridge is 4 modules, and I say modules because a module is commonly used in our curriculum, but it's a group of topics, and those topics range from very basic Excel descriptive statistics and analytics, so jumping into the software and really making sure people have a baseline understanding of how to use Excel, how to generate formulas, how to generate tables and figures within those that environment, and try to interpret data. So that's kind of the start of Module 1. Module 2 jumps into more or less more advanced Excel, but we're getting into more of the statistics and probability that probably, I'm guessing, some haven't had for quite some time. So probability and statistics is the foundation of analytics a lot of times. So we want to make sure people are caught up to speed on some of those topics that they haven't been exposed to for quite some time, or they just want to brush up on their skills. We do actually have optional content, even if a student doesn't take the bridge, that we can recommend. The third week and the fourth week, or the third or fourth module, I should say, not necessarily weeks, because we offer quite a number of weeks to complete those 4 module exercises. Module 3 is more centered around, again, probability and statistics and developing regression models in ANOVA. And in the 4th week, we do a little bit of accounting and financial functions and accounting functions inside of the Excel environment.
Great, thank you. Another question, maybe towards business analytics or MBA. The question is, what MBA program would you suggest for a business owner that isn't changing careers and really wants to do a deeper dive work into the data they are already using, but they were a history major in undergrad?
It's a good question. It's always hard to recommend concentrations and programs to people. It's, because you might not have the whole story, but a few come to mind. Entrepreneurship comes to mind, but maybe if that's not the best fit, something like operations and supply chain to me resonate, because we're talking about process improvement and we're talking about project management, and so those are all universal skills that a business owner can apply. Whether they go through the statistical analysis of justifying their Lean Six Sigma project or something like that, maybe isn't the most important thing, but having that mindset of continuous improvement and how to manage your time and resources is certainly important. Business analytics is going to be important. You're not going to probably have corporate-wide systems and ERPs and CRMs of the world, so you're probably dealing with data on a much different level. So having the ability to analyze that data yourself, personally, is quintessential. So I would recommend that. But, with that being said, accounting, finance are also strong skills that one would have. And I guess to answer this question, I would encourage people in this position to just simply pick one that they feel is the most appropriate. And, at some point we're going to offer certificate programs where we want to foster continuous education. So maybe after this program is over, they can take a 3-course certificate program with us in a different discipline.
Great. Thank you again. Another question here, what are the average hours per week needed to be successful in each course? So I'll answer that question, and then if Dr. Young or Jill or anyone has anything to add. On average, we're looking for students to dedicate at least 15 to 20 hours per week to be successful in your coursework. So that's about 2 to 3 hours per day. Of course, you don't need to cram all that into one day. You can work on the weekends, at evening hours, mornings, whatever is preference for your schedule. During the first semester of the program, for each program that we discussed today, you may find that you're dedicating a little bit more time because if you for whatever reason, received your degree a while ago, you're not as familiar with the topics. So you could find yourself dedicating a little bit more than the 15 to 20, but on average, you'll be looking at 15 to 20 hours. All right. So the next question here I have for the accounting program, does the accounting program require work experience in the accounting field, or is it a preference?
No, it does not require work experience in the accounting field or otherwise. We do have students that come into the program right from an undergraduate degree because the CPA requirements in all states now are 150 credit hours minimum of coursework. And so we have students that do come in right out of an undergraduate degree. And then, of course, we do have other students who are looking to enhance their career or looking to change careers, and so they may have work experience. So it's, I wouldn't even say it's a preference. You could have work experience or you might not, and either is perfectly acceptable.
Great. Thank you, Dr. Jennifer. Another question for the Business Analytics program, and this is as to the application checklist. Can you give a brief overview of the personal statement required for the Business Analytics program? So, Dr. Young?
Sure thing. I think in both of our programs, all three of our programs, but I don't necessarily want to speak for the accounting program. But, as far as the cover letter goes, we want to hear about your goals. We want to hear about why you want to pursue this degree. If you do have sort of a track record where it's not so stellar, we want to hear why. What have you done to overcome some of your setbacks in life? What are some examples that are concrete that you've overcome adversity? And what are some examples of some leadership initiatives that you've taken? Because we're looking for people that have obviously experience, and we, in our MBA program, we want to know what they've done and how they've progressed through their career. In the MBA, it's a little bit different with the working experience requirement being less or non-existent. But, those things still resonate. So, if you can build out that cover letter with that type of information of why you want the degree, if you've had setbacks, explain those setbacks. Don't be transparent. That's what we're looking for, because we look at those transcripts very thoroughly, and when there's things that raise flags and it's not discussed, that's a red flag for us. So if it's discussed, we're forgiving. We understand things don't always go in the most positive way. So those are kind of my recommendations.
Great, thank you. Another great question here. Are the courses typically synchronous or asynchronous? And I guess that would be for any one of our three programs.
So in terms of the OMBA and the OMBA-N, the Masters of Business Analytics, all courses are 7 weeks. So I kind of forgot to mention that with the analytics discussion. All courses are 7 weeks. All courses have a majority of the course being asynchronous, but we do have synchronous components. So most of our courses are video-driven. So the material has been developed by some sort of champion faculty, and most of the time that champion faculty is the one that delivers the course material, but sometimes it's not. And then every week in the OMBA and OMBA-N, we require faculty to be available for what we call virtual office hours. And in those virtual office hours, there might be content that is provided to students. There might not be. So in other words, you might come to a VOH having questions, and it's just a quick question about an assignment, the requirements, or maybe clarification on a topic, and then the faculty will be there to answer those. Or the faculty could bring in a set of extra examples or readings or something to supplement what's in the videos or perhaps what's not in the videos. So there's a mixture of both, but I would say the majority is asynchronous. And of course, there's dedicated times that homework and other assignments are due, of course, that is persistent for everybody in the class.
Great. Thank you again. So this next question may pertain to more than one person in our audience, but I think it's a great question. The question says, I've been out of college for 25 years. I don't use algebra or etc. running my business. I still use a HP 12C. So how much of a disadvantage will that be for me?
Huh. Okay, so I'm not sure what the HP device is. It doesn't matter. But, in all honesty, the way we approach analytics is in a very much applied manner. And, I can't say there aren't components that are applying, calculus principles. But mainly, mainly it's applied. And what I mean by that is you're not going to necessarily have to apply some sort of partial derivative and some sort of higher mathematical technique to achieve to being able to apply the application of the business analytics skills and techniques that we're learning. Some of the harder science, if you will, is going to be in a different type of a program. So, you'll notice if you're looking at the title, this is not a Master's of Science program. In a Master's of Science program, it's different. You're going to have to create original knowledge by a thesis project or something like that. You're also going to be expected to have more of a programming background and the requirements of the program to maybe implement some of those higher ordered, mathematical techniques. I don't really want to downplay what we're going to do in the business analytics program because, we are going to cover probability and statistics. We are going to cover some of these critical tools and techniques that we need to apply. But, I am very confident that if you start our program and you take every course seriously, you're not going to be at a disadvantage because the way we roll out the courses. We're going to start out by saying, hey, this is how you enter data into Excel. This is how you format a cell. This is how you insert a function that might be average or count or sum, or something like that. So, just because people are not necessarily familiar with calculus or they are a little math phobic, I think that this program is perfect for them. And I also think it's perfect for somebody that walks into the program that does have more confidence and more experience in some of those classes. So me personally, when I take a role in analytics, I'm not leveraging my skills not statistics, but in calculus. That's just not something that really analytics is built around, in all honesty. More or less, the foundation of analytics is probability and stats, in my opinion. Let the software do the heavy lifting.
Awesome. Thank you. Great answer. So, ladies and gentlemen, we have time for just one more question. Again, if your question was unanswered, please feel free to reach out to your enrollment advisor for more information. So our last question here is around the capstone requirement. if there is a requirement for any one of the 3 programs discussed for today, and if so, what is expected for students to complete.
Jennifer, do you mind going first?
Sure. Could you repeat that question real quick?
Sure. So students want to know if there is a capstone requirement for the program, and if so, what is required or expected for them to complete.
So we do have a capstone, and it is a practical case-based capstone. So it would be taking real-world case studies and applying what you've learned throughout the program to address the question or the problem from multiple perspectives. But there is no thesis at the end of that capstone, or no, it's not, I don't believe there's an overall business project. It is going to be individual case studies and projects.
Yeah, let me, and sorry, by the way, Jennifer, I didn't mean to catch you off guard, but, in the MBAN program and the MBA program, we both have capstone courses. They're actually a synergy between the two in the 2 programs. So in the MBA environment, you're taking a capstone course, which is a simulation of a business environment, a computer-driven simulation. And you're working in teams, and each team member takes on different roles, sort of in the C-suite, if you will. So some people are making financial decisions, some people are making operations decisions, and others might be making marketing decisions. So you each kind of have your own role. There's no thesis or sort of a report of any substantial matter, to be quite honest, with that capstone. And again, that's one differentiating factor between a Master's of Science program and more of a non-Master's of Science program. But, we focus on the things that we feel are important, which is teamwork, relying on each other's discipline and experience and things like that. Communication is certainly important, and leadership is certainly important. So you get to be in that simulated business environment. Now, for the MBAN, we actually leverage that MBA simulated experience. So we're actually going to join or group analytics with non-analytics students. And obviously that's one more role that is going to supplement and hopefully augment decision-making within that group environment. So the Masters of Analytics students will have different roles, different assignments because of just the nature of the program. That actually is a 1-hour course called the Analytics Practicum, and it's coupled with the 2-hour business experience capstone course.
Great, thank you. And I apologize, but we do have one more question. It's a very good question. It's covered kind of in all 3 programs again. But the question is, how much group work is required in the MBA program and Business Analytics Focus, or again, maybe the accounting program as well?
So I would say the majority of, I'm sorry, Jennifer, go ahead.
There will be a significant team component because we are running a case-based program for the Master of Accountancy, but we have incorporated that time you will need to spend with your teams as part of the overall time commitment we're looking for. So it's not going to be that there's going to be a burdensome team commitment above and beyond the coursework that you're expected to complete. The teamwork is incorporated into the coursework, and we have allocated time within what we expect as far as the time commitment for that teamwork to occur.
Oh yeah, group work. I zoned out there for a second. But anyway, group work. So MBA related, there are a few courses that have group work. Our course is more tailored to sort of the asynchronous crowd. We have students from 50 different states in our program, different time zones. there's a lot of challenges that we face with doing group work, so it's minimized, quite frankly. And if we feature group work, it's done in a way that's flexible. So, for example, in an OBHR marketing, maybe operations course, you might have discussion board posts, and you might be asked to post original thought or an original entry at the beginning of the week. And then maybe you're paired up with somebody that's responsible to replying to your original post. So that kind of goes back and forth and some variation amongst a few of our courses. But most of the courses do not require group work. And, that capstone I just mentioned is going to be the course that does the most group work of all, and it's the last class in the series of courses that you would take. So I would say, to answer that question, it is very much minimized, and like I said earlier, it's flexible when it's done in general, because we're dealing with such a diverse crowd with diverse time zones and things like that.
Awesome. Thank you. So thank you again for your questions, everyone. Again, reach out to your enrollment advisors if your question was unable to be answered. I do want to thank you all for attending our webinar and taking the time to learn more about your graduate options. You are encouraged to use the resources available to you on your screen to speak with your advisor, such as myself, to begin the admissions process. We do have 3 semester starts for all 3 of our programs discussed today. We're currently accepting applications for our next term of enrollment. So thank you again, and on behalf of the enrollment advisors for Ohio University, the Online MBA, Business Analytics, and Accountancy programs, we look forward to assisting you regarding your interests. Go Bobcats!